so don't know whether that's anything to do with the wind. We could maybe get a word here with Philip Neal. Philip, Bruce has already been out on the superbike. He come in and changed onto the super stocker. Now he's come back out in the superbike. Have you made a few changes?
Yeah, a few things. If you want a tire, come in, get in. Yeah, we just made a few changes there. It seems to be a bit more bumpy around the circuit this year than it was last year, so we're just working a little bit on the suspension and trying to get a few laps in on both bikes. Times don't really matter so much tonight. We're just trying to get everything dialed in.
Times don't matter tonight, but you told him to come in for a new tire at the end, obviously, so we can push on a bit harder just in case the weather's not so good Thursday night.
Well, we've already done half a race distance on that tire, so I don't want him riding around on something once it passes its race distance, because we're not going to do any more laps on it if he feels it moving on the back end, just to let him know how many laps that it actually has done the tire,
Cheers, Phil.
Bruce Anstey there, that was the team manager Phil Neal for the Taz Relentless Suzuki squad. We just pick up Bruce Anstey going over the rise past the golf course on the run in towards the left-hander of York Hairpin. And this, of course, Phil, if you recall, last year was where he actually stepped off the superbike. He just got on the gas a little bit earlier around that point there, and it just fired him over the top. But 9 times a Northwest 200 winner, he'll be a brave man to bet against him, adding to that tally this week.
I think so. I think it's probably going to be the hardest year ever to pick a winner, because we've got Guy Martin, who we've already talked about, who really wants to prove a point this year. We've got John McGuinness, who wants to prove he can win again. That last year was no fluke. We've got Steve Plater, who wants to teach everyone a lesson, and we've got a strong field. I think probably one of the people under the most pressure this year is Michael Rutter, and Michael obviously rides for the Northwest 200 team, so if anyone wants and needs a victory here, it's the Northwest 200 team. Michael has had a few problems, as we know, the last couple of superbike rounds. He had a superb start in the first round where he rid to a comfortable third place at Bruxon. The week after that he struggled a little bit. Last week he said he struggled again. He struggled out here on the first few laps tonight, so I think the man under the most pressure at the minute could be Michael.
I think you're probably right there, Phil, because you're quite right. Didn't I know it at the Thruxton podium when traditionally Michael Rutter gets on the podium, and one of the post-race rituals is to not share the champagne down the throat. It's usually down the back of the neck, and we had a double dose of that down at Thruxton, and we thought that perhaps he'd turn the corner, but we went to Oulton Park. The weather wasn't fantastic at Oulton Park, and he struggled a little bit, and then the last thing that he needed last weekend at Brands Hatch was to fall off, and what did he do? He tipped off that Northwest 200 Ducati at Surtees Corner. So let's just hope that he put it right, because Adele and Alistair Kennedy and the rest of the Kennedy group that has put this team together, John Hackett from JHP Performance, Ken Foley, the team manager, and of course the build-based side of the garage, whereby normally John Laverty runs in that side of the garage. Michael will be running his Superstock bike. They put a lot of time, a lot of effort in. It has been branded the Northwest 200 Ducati. It's all about this event, so there's a little bit of pressure on him.
I think there's more than a little bit of pressure. If that was me, I would certainly feel it. But I mean, Michael's he's not a young lad anymore. He's used to pressure. He's used to he's just used trying to get results, and I think if anyone can cope, Michael can. And I say he does have a good team. As you know, John Hackett has built winning bikes for a long time, so he's well capable of doing that. The suspension crowd that's working with Michael are well capable of getting that bike to handle right. And I believe someone said they've switched tyres at the last moment.
Yeah, so we understand. We've not had this confirmed other than Steve Parrish now. I've got absolutely no reason to doubt it, but usually in the British Superbike Championship they run on the controlled Pirelli tyre, and I know that a lot of the teams were planning on continuing that association over here, but one or two had planned on going across to a rival brand such as Dunlop, and as a result we understand that perhaps there has been one or two changes along the way, and they've decided to perhaps stick with a rubber that they know best, or for whatever reason. But that came as a little bit of a surprise to me when Steve told me that.
Well, I mean, one thing that's very, very important and has been throughout the years and will be is tyres for the Northwest 200. You need a tyre that's got a pretty rounded profile, really, because if you try using your GP style tyres with a high profile, you just get that little bit of instability at high speed. And don't forget, we are talking about one of the fastest tracks in the world here, where we're going at over 200 miles an hour. So one thing that is very, very important at the Northwest is your tyres.
Well, just getting pictures there of Steve Plater on the AIM Racing Yamaha, getting very, very lively as he went through Millbank and into Primrose before he got on the brakes in towards your corner. But Steve Plater, the 3 times winner at the Northwest 200, 3 Superbike victories to his credit. And Phil, when he went through the right-hander of Millbank there, and then he put it into the left-hander, it started getting a little bit lively, and it's important to have a good handling bike around here. That looked as though it was taking things to the extreme, though.
Well, it did, yes, and I think it's the same for everyone. First night at the Northwest 200 in a year, it's Tuesday night, everyone's trying different settings, different car pressures, different whatever, and it is going to take a couple of laps. But, I mean, if we put it down to experience this year and riding, Steve Plater should win. He's done, what, 2 endurance races so far. He's done British races. I mean, he's probably done more miles himself than half the field put together here.
Yeah, running for the GMT 94 World Endurance Squad as well this year. Steve Plater, who finished 4th in the latest round in the wet down in Spain, and just keeping our eye there. That looks to be Anstey that's going to be coming back down into pit lane there. A lot of the riders now just taking their super stock machines out. Those are usually determined by the red backing plate as opposed to the white backing plate. Just have a quick run through those times there, Phil. Guy Martin still fastest under number 9, 120.2 miles per hour. John McGuinness under number 4, 429.357, which is 119.8. Steve Plater, that's not changed, 119.3. Alistair Seeley, best of the super stockers, and then to run through the best of the rest of the superbikes. Number 3, Ryan Farquhar, 24, Keith Hamer, then 102, Connor Cummins on the stocker, Ian Lockett on the superbike, Scratch Archibald on the superbike as well, Cam Donald, the comeback rider Cameron Donald, after getting injured here last year under number 6, the second of the Taz Suzukis, or the first as it were, because Bruce Anstey's just out there on his superstock machine. Michael Rutter languishing down in 13th position at present, but I think we will see Michael just up the pace. It's all about, it's like being a good cricketer, isn't it, Phil? It's a case of just playing yourself in, just seeing out the opening overs tonight, and then the weather's set fair. I don't think we're going to have too many problems, and then we'll hopefully set the pastimes on Thursday evening.
Yeah, I think so. It's very, very important to get your bike handling right here tonight, because you know you can ride round and round and round, but if you don't get that bike right tonight, you just won't go any faster come Thursday night. And I think the long distance, or the weather forecast for the close future says that we're going to have some good weather up until the weekend, and hopefully including the weekend. But I think the times haven't moved really from the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes tonight. There's people coming in, changing bikes, changing gearing, altering suspension. So I think there's no one really has got sort of 2 laps in a row yet. But I mean, there's 7 minutes, 6 minutes left of practice now. So I suspect you just might see a couple of faster laps sneaking in the last 5 minutes.
Well, just as we were talking there, Adrian Costa was just about to jump in with Connor Cummins. We can just see him on the PokerStars entry there under number 102. The Tower Block, the 6'4" tall marksman. Now he sets off on his way on that super stock machine. And again, we're looking for a good result from Connor Cummins here this weekend. Now he's on his way down through Millbank Avenue, through the left-hander. And this is a critical part of the course, isn't it, Phil? The coast road. It's one thing getting down in the bubble at 190, 200 miles an hour on the run to university and back to the metropole, but the most important part, technically, is probably the coast road.
The coast road, yes, as you know, it starts at metropole, it comes along, but where we're watching here, leaving the start and finish, you know, it's important to get the drive out of that chicane. The first right-hander down here is very, very important, because if you get that slightly wrong, it means you're too far over in the left to carry the speed through the next left-hander, and then that's down to York Corner, so that's very, very important.
Well, we just pick up with Steve Plater. That's Les Shaky Shan, who just exited stage right on the super stock, with Steve Plater coming through on the AIM Racing Yamaha across the line. This, of course, this chicane has been in operation now for a number of years here, and originally the bikes used to go straight down the coast road, and obviously that nowadays is just not a possibility, Phil.
No, it's turn off at York Hairpin and turn back up again. But I mean, we're watching Steve Plater here. This could be one of those fast laps that he's going to sneak in the last 5 minutes, because his posture there says he's trying.
Well, he's dropped down to 4th fastest, because the guy that's gone fastest is John McGuinness, ladies and gents. John McGuinness with a 121.630, a lap time of 425.3, 121 miles an hour for John McGuinness. Guy Martin bumped down to 2nd position under number 9. And then listen for this one, the Northwest 200 Ducati is there, 3rd fastest, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise to us, is it? once Michael does get his bike right, he can ride here. I mean, if there's one rider that knows this course, it's Michael Rutter. I mean, back in my day, I remember racing against Michael here, so he does know where he's going.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of time. We can see Steve Parrish there just waiting to go out on. This is the road version of the bike. Clerk of the course, Mervyn White, just moves in to have a chat with Stavros, and this is going to be a lap that Steve is going to voice. And even though it's a bog standard, well, it's not quite a bog standard road bike, Phil, but still in excess of 180 mile an hour on the run down to University.
Oh yes, it should be. I mean, this is their super stock bike, and if you talk to guys in the British Championship, they're super stock.